We've been talking transit as part of our city commute series, and today Peter here is going to show us what it's like to get around on TTC in a wheelchair. The province has made it so that the TTC needs to be fully accessible by 2025, but many say there's still a huge gap, literally.
If you look at my wheels,
yeah,
and you look at that gap,
there's a height discrepancy.
You know, it's difficult for me to get up here, right? I need a running start. And I can't guarantee I'm going to clear that. And as you notice, there's people coming in and out. So
you don't have a lot of time.
I don't have a lot of time. I need to prepare myself.
What's your experience been in the past with this gap?
I've already fallen. I've attempted to try to get up onto the train independently, misjudge lifting up my wheels, and fallen right in. And my wheelchair was still on the platform. They announced that they're going to do a minimum of 3.5 inches in length and 1.5 inches in height.
What do you want to see instead? What do you propose?
Well, I like the GO station, the go station approach, where there is a designated waiting area in every GO train, where if someone needs assistance, they deploy a ramp. That guarantees safety.
Now, coming up, the accessibility issues don't end below ground. We're going to take a look at some other modes of transportation, like Uber, and how well they fare for people with disabilities. Now, we've been talking transit as part of our city commute series, and earlier in the show, we saw just how challenging it can be for people in mobility devices to get on the TTC. Now, that's why many turn to different transportation options like taxis and Ubers. Uber's app is accessible for people with visual impairments, but some say there is still room for improvement. What are your other options, and are there other viable options for people?
I primarily use Uber and traditional taxi to get around because it's the safest way to get around. The city has done a great job over the years to ensure that accessible taxis and Uber wheelchair accessible vehicles are more readily available. They're doing a good job in the inner Toronto core, but there's still a lot of work to be done in the outer outskirts of the Toronto area. People are not getting fair and equitable services. The competition has forced some reduced rates and fares in accessing accessible vehicle for hire services. But again, it's expensive. I choose to use this form of transportation is because I am extremely limited to other options. I genuinely am afraid at times to use the subway system on my own. I've had an experience where I've actually fallen, and it was very embarrassing. I almost hurt myself, and I've continuously had this fear, particularly in high traffic times when everybody's using the subway at the same time.
Now, one complaint about Uber is that some people with service animals have reported being denied access onto Uber vehicles. Now, this week, Uber announced that they will be updating their policy across Canada to ban any drivers who deny people with service animals from getting into their cars. Ginella Massa.